snake cooks, it's probably as good a time as any to talk about the snake bite experience. That happened a little over a month ago. Check that out. Unforeseen. I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of snakes, and it's probably just a numbers game, as it were. If any of these snakes have been as aggressive as the snake that we're cooking up right now, I would steer a lot more clear of rattlesnakes. I've consumed quite a few of them. I've dealt with quite a few of them. I lived on trail for years, cumulatively. So rattlesnakes are kind of a thing that occurs on almost a weekly basis out here in South Texas. Now this snake that we encountered happened about 300-400 yards from here. And we were not collecting this snake. We weren't harassing it, nothing of the sort. This snake was aggressive off the bat in the middle of the trail. We'd gone out for a walk with another channel, a guy from Drop 4 Survival. But coming across the trail, snake advancing on us, pushing back with a stick, and he launched himself. So this snake right here, a little over 3 foot, with me standing, and it from me to this Dutch oven over here on the ground, he was able to launch himself and hit me in the side of the arm. With me standing, just like this, bam, all the way to here, and a glancing blow. I've never seen anything like it. They shouldn't be able to do it. We have a lot of stuff in forums on striking distance, snake aggression. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but this was definitely something different and out of the ordinary. I got one fang in me, and that began to hurt almost immediately. I had somebody go ahead and squeeze on it real fast as I pushed the snake further away with a stick. Snake stick was there within a few minutes, and we went ahead and put the snake inside of a bucket. We immediately piled into the car and started heading towards the hospital, which is around 20 minutes away. Didn't really waste any time at all. Jumped in, took off. Within 25-30 minutes of being bit, I was ready for morphine. We went to the hospital. They put me on observation. They gave me the morphine. I like that. And everybody was in pretty high spirits. I didn't expect anything to really come of it. We had thought, or assumed actually, that it had been most of a dry bite or fairly inconsequential. The doctor, after a time, about an hour, decided that let's go ahead and send him off to San Antonio. San Antonio is a large metro, about an hour and a half away from our location right now, and said, we'll go ahead and do that. I got in the ambulance, humored them, or thought I was humoring them. Everybody was still cracking jokes. Everybody was still in high spirits. We'll go and do this, and it'll be part of a story. By the time I pulled into the San Antonio hospital, probably about 2-3 minutes before we got there, I just kind of faded. I remember hearing the paramedics say, we're just about there, 5 more minutes, and then my memory cuts out. I've got a couple of vivid flashes of family being around, my daughters showing up, taking care of me for a moment, a whole lot of throwing up, and 2 days later I kind of started having memories again. I'd been knocked out, unconscious, on drip, and in ICU, and I was in ICU for 3 days. They gave me 6 vials of Crofab, tons of hospital food, so I'd much rather eat bacon wrapped snake, and some fun bills, which we've already taken care of. We're good to go there. Lots and lots of anti-nausea medicine, lots of morphine, painkillers. The hands swole up. My hands kind of look like the Michelin Man. It got really puffy, really swollen, really nasty. I ran out of knuckles. Didn't have anything on because they'd already taken everything off for the ICU. So no swelling, no damage there. Everything stripped off. And we went through all the drugs and all that fun. So getting woken up all the time, lots of doctors in and out, everybody asking questions. I suffered no necrosis at all in the arm. There is a hard portion, about a quarter size, for about a week and a half, 2 weeks afterwards. I really couldn't grasp anything, not with any real strength. I'd forget, grab something, start to pull on it, and it would remind me very quickly that it was there. The pain was akin to feeling my bones being crushed. If you've broken bones, it felt like somebody taking a hammer to it and just crushing the bone. So it was pretty fun. Within about a month, I started to be able to use my hands, my arms normally again. It took around a week from getting out of the hospital for my hands to reduce swelling. Each day I was able to see a little more knuckles. My hands were a little more functional. I have been suffering from joint pain in my hips and knees, extreme joint pain for the last month and a quarter, and that's now starting to go away just a little bit. I've never experienced joint pain in my life, so that was definitely a strange reaction. Also, lots of sweats, night sweats, just out in the bit. It'll be cold outside and all of a sudden I start to sweat. So there's definitely been some long-term side effects, and the people I've talked to say that that can occur for 3, 6 months, even up to a year as you recover and your body starts to kind of even out. And I definitely understand that, especially with the joint pain. It's lasted until the last couple days, and it hasn't really bothered me terribly bad since then. We'll give you an update at some point. But so far that's my adventure. When we got back, we had put the snake in a bucket. At some point, as I just mentioned earlier, that snake acquired a .380 shell from a handgun to its body, and it did not survive that experience. So when I got back, the snake was already in the freezer. It had been dead for several days then, and it posed us no threat at all. Overall, again, hopefully that's the first and last rattlesnake bite I ever sustain. It's not going to be really my choice on whether I mess with them again. I know that you watch some of my videos where I go into their territory, but we live out here as well, and they come in quite often. We actually picked up one in the front yard a little over a week ago, and another one on the same bit of trail about 3 days ago. So they are here. Their numbers every year is a little bit different, but it's not really a choice to leave them alone when they're inside your barn, inside of your flower beds. Check out some of my other videos on snake trapping, and that'll give you kind of an idea of what's happening with all that. But guys, leave rattlesnakes alone if you can. Respect their area, and understand, even though animals might act predictably most of the time, at some point, if you see enough of them, you're going to meet one that breaks expectations or acts unexpectedly. So be careful out there. Now I want to go ahead and address one more thing before the comments and questions come out there, and that has to do with snakebite kits. Now, did we have one of these whenever the snake bite occurred? Absolutely. We've got them peppered around. They've just kind of stacked up here and there. They were within reach. Did we use them? No, not at all. This right here is the extractor. This is the most modern snakebite kit out there. You can pick these up at Walmart, pretty cheap. A lot of folks go out on the trail with them. Inside, you're going to find instructions. I've yet to meet anybody that actually reads instructions, but those are handy. You've also got some antiseptic in there. You've got some band-aids and a razor for shaving off some hair. Maybe you're just a really hairy person. So all that stuff's great, useful for other stuff. Inside, that's where the fun is. And as a kid, these things were great. This is an extractor. It's this little syringe that creates kind of an air vacuum. So this is fun. It's not going to hurt anybody unless you put it on an eyeball or something. Now the idea is that inside this extractor, I've got 3 different plunger heads on here. And the idea is you're going to pick whichever one matches up the type of bite that you got wherever you got in that bite. So you go ahead and take that extractor, line it up on the plunger, okay, and it just slips on. Pull it off. That's one of them right there. It's a fairly small one. And this is designed to be used with one hand if necessary. But you pull the plunger all the way out. Take that, wherever you've gotten the bite, you set the plunger over that puncture wound, push down, and that last ½ inch, click, all of a sudden the airflow, the vacuum's going to set in, and it's going to change. And if you look closely, you'll notice that the skin is now raised. This will actually sit there and support itself. Now you're supposed to leave this on there for quite some time, and the concept behind this is that even if it takes out a drop of venom, it's going to help you out. And I'd agree if that was actually occurring. You get it on there and it just continues to suck, and hopefully some venom comes up with it to be helpful. Now the problem with this, it's not really effective. It doesn't really do anything. You're really running out your clock minute by minute as you look for the set, as you set it up, as you sit there and plunge into it, that's time best used, or better used, by just getting out of the area. You can reverse that plunger real fast. It's real easy. In order to reset it, just push down, it'll click, take your plunger off. And so it might seem like a really nifty idea, time well spent, but as the clock runs out, you're really limiting your options. So whenever something occurs like this, a snake bite for whatever reason, you need to be en route to a hospital, to a medical facility, someplace set up with crowfab, antivenom that can treat you and get you what you need, because anything that's just going to slow you down and keep you away from that is going to be a negative in my book. Now that's the cool one out there. This one down here is still available, and some of you old timers probably know what this is. This is the old Snakebite Kit. This is from a couple decades ago, even though you can probably find this on eBay or somewhere. Now inside of this, it's just a little capsule. Go ahead and open it up. You're going to find some antiseptic and a razor blade. So all kinds of fun in here. And the idea on this one is that you're going to take that razor blade, find that puncture wound, that bite, you'll slice into it, and you'll manually use your mouth to suck out the venom. Same idea as the extractor, with less technology to it. You've probably seen some videos or old movies where somebody gets bit in the butt and they have to have a friend or somebody ironic go and suck the venom out of their butt in order to save their life. This is where that concept comes out from. Now, you're compiling the issue. Not only do you have a snake bite now with venom possibly inside of your system, you now have a laceration. Blood's going everywhere. The pain is going to change up things, and when you get to the hospital, you'll get told all kinds of fun stuff because they're judging you. This is not effective. This is not going to help. This is just causing more issues. All right. Third thing right here. This is always the fun one. This is one of my daughter's tasers, borrowed for a moment. But this is one of those woo-woo things, and there's a lot more out there. I'm sure the comment section is going to have all kinds of rattlesnake remedies. But some folks out there take tasers and they think that since tasers have electricity, a little bit of science, electricity, venom's obviously going to die when you put electricity to it. And the idea is that you simply tase the bite, and that will denature the venom and cause it to not react with you. And that's not how science works. That's not how electricity works. And all you're doing is just tasing the heck out of your friend. And that thought really amuses me. A bunch of rednecks just sitting there tasing the crap out of each other, patting each other on the back. But you're causing second-degree burns, and you're not doing what you set out to do. Now, the confusion that usually occurs here, this is where this all comes from, is that with humans, at least, not so much with dogs, but with humans, a lot of times your snakes are going to do something called a dry bite. They'll bite you, the fangs will go in, but they're not going to inject any venom. And so whenever that occurs, which is a pretty good amount of the time, whenever that occurs, you're still going to have the bite. You might have some burning, but immediately they grab out the distractors, they grab out tasers, they start tasing. An hour or two later, when you don't really react, everybody's patting on the back, and all you've really done is congratulate yourself for getting tased for no reason. So it didn't really help you. It didn't solve the problem. You didn't have a problem, and you just got to tase your friend. So good stories, I guess. But that has some real repercussions if you have a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old get bit by a rattlesnake, and instead of seeking medical attention, you're tasing the hell out of the kid. That's kind of a deal. Same thing with you tough guys. You're just going to walk it off and grit your teeth as the pain slowly increases. Get to the hospital. Don't flip a coin. Don't chance it. Don't gamble. Because every minute that goes by, you are removing options. All right? And by the end of it, again, 2 hours, completely unconscious. And that was a single fang in my arm. Just one fang took me out in 2 hours. If I'd have been in a remote area, up a trail, that means the time is ticking. And for me, would I sit there and mess with an extractor? No. Would I worry about getting my heart rate up? a little bit. I'm not going to go and run a sprint down the trail trying to get to a vehicle in a hospital, but I will hoof it up there. I'll drop the arm if it's the arm, get it below the heart as much as possible, and I will try and manage the pain because it becomes quite unmanageable. Within 30 minutes, I was losing power. I could just feel myself drooping as I was going into the emergency room. So, guys, don't play with them. Really, that's the deal. It's kind of surprising that I haven't had more interactions, negative interactions with rattlesnakes over the years, even though in my youth, and you've probably seen on this channel, me taking risks and interacting with them quite a bit as I try and educate folks. Even then, living out on the trail, I put my hand on several of them, not even knowing they were there, leaning back to go take a nap or reaching up on a rock. It happens. You live in their area, you work, and you move up and down their trails, and you're going to come in contact. And so, by whatever grace or luck, I hadn't had any kind of bites since, well, until now, but that's changed. So do what you can to stay away from them. If you can, leave them alone. If they're on your property and they're up and around your habitation or going to get to your dogs, to your kids, try and get a professional out there, or at least get you a snake stick or something you can remove them with. Being prepared, it's all we can really do. Snakes happen out here, and that's just what it is. But take it for what it is. I look forward to reading the comment section, guys. Tear it up. And that's it. This guy right here, some of y'all wondering, he is snake trained. I'll have to show you that one of these days. He has his own snake bark, and he is vaccinated for rattlesnakes. So if you are going to have a ranch dog out here, this one knows exactly what to do. And if he was to get bit, he's going to be really a lot better off. Right. Good boy. Let's go, bud. Well, group, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you think about it. Comment section ought to be pretty colorful. And check out some of the links in the description. We've got some other videos associated with that rattlesnake bite. And a little bit of shameless advertising. This is the Grim Survival Card, Bob Hansler's signature series. You're going to find the link in the description down below. I'm pretty proud of this. I designed the card, pretty amazing, made by Grim Workshop. So check them out. Every purchase helps out the channel, and it also goes to a few charities of my choice. So, guys, enjoyed it. Take care and be safe, as always. Till next time. Ready to hunt? Let's go.